Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Just 1 second. Yes. So, where are we? Okay. So, we were talking about this Stetson, right? And we were just referring to the Punic War between Rome and Carthage in 260 BC, and we have the references as you who were with me in the ships at Malay, that crops you planted last year in your garden, has it begun to sprout? Will it bloom this year, right? This is what we have been talking. And I told you that this last stanza of this movement and these lines simply emphasize the title of this movement, that is the burial of the dead, right? As I'm quite sure that so far it's clear to all of us that the burial rite, the burial ritual, the burial process, be it of pre-Christian civilization, in terms of pagan gods and goddesses, in terms of ancient Egyptian civilization, or be it even of Christianity, they all entail a kind of resurrection, they all entail a kind of fertility, they all entail a kind of regeneration, right? But this has no meaning as far as 20th century modern West land is concerned, right? And it has been the way this refers to the Punic War, and the Punic War and its reverberations can be seen in the First World War, 1914 to 18. Punic War, corpses, dead bodies. First World War, corpses, dead bodies. Just try to understand the similarity, the strong similarity between first wars resulting into deaths, resulting into chaos, resulting into futility and anarchy. But this futility and anarchy is prevailed to a greater heightened status, simply because there is no belief, there is no faith either in the resurrective powers or in fertility powers or in even regenerative power, right? That is implied in the very process of the ritual of. This is what I told when I was when I was referring to that famous Anglican church in the first paragraph of the poem, when the priest says that the one who believes in me, do you remember that line? The one who believes in me lives with me, dies with me. This is all about belief system. All about what? Belief system. At this juncture, I again would like to uh, refer to another biblical उसे बंद करो पहले shut the door please. I'm so sorry, my younger daughter is making imaginative cakes and she is asking not to eat until that gets prepared. I'm so sorry about her interruption. Anyway, so I was talking about that Bible, and if you talk about these lines, uh, has it begun to sprout? What answer? What will be the answer of this question? Has it begun to sprout? Yes.
No, no will be the
No.
answer, sir.
Will it bloom this year? No. Right? So just let me read to you another biblical reference to make it more clear, to make it more understandable in that way. And this I will be referring one of the statements of Saint Paul, one of the statements of whom? Saint Paul, and he says, please. And if you wish to note down, you also may note down, right? And he says, know ye, that is know you, not that, know ye, not that, so many of us, as were baptized, so many of as were baptized into Jesus Christ, were baptized. Know ye not that so many of us, as were baptized into Jesus Christ, were baptized into his death. Into his death. We are buried with him. We are buried with him, that is Jesus Christ, into death. Into death. If we have been planted, together in the likeness of his death. Let's try to understand these important keywords. First thing is what? We are buried with him into his death. And if we have been planted together in the likeness of his death, we shall also be in the likeness of his resurrection. We shall also be in the likeness of his resurrection. What does it connote? Does it not connote faith, heightened form of faith, heightened form of belief? Getting? The death of Christ is the death of each one of us. The resurrection of Christ is the resurrection of each one of us. But the tragedy is we no longer are living in a faithful world, in a world of belief as far as Christ is concerned, as far as the belief system of Jesus Christ is concerned. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
That's why he's saying that crops you planted last year in your garden, has it begun to sprout? Ironical. Mockery. No. Will it bloom this year? No. Will it bloom next year? Then next year? No, no, no. Until or unless there is a process of going back to roots, going back to that intact tradition, going back to the belief system, going back to the relationship of faith, going back and embrace Jesus Christ, embrace the teachings of Him, embrace whatever Bible according to Eliot, whatever pristine civilizations have been talking, mythical world, recurrence, right? Recycling. If you don't have this, if you don't have enough ground beneath our feet, we shall not be standing for a longer time. We cannot sustain ourselves for a longer time. We are bound to be doomed. We are bound to be collapsed. We are bound to get into hell. This is what is being suggested by the. Yes, right? Please read. Or has, don't worry, or has the sudden frost disturbed the bed? Simple, natural phenomenon. Frost, winter season. In winter season, nothing grows concrete. Nothing, winter is almost synonymous to chilled and dead, and something death-like situation in that way. So it's a frosty. Winter kept us warm. We have no time for spiritual cogitation. We have no time for we have no time to think about our rebirth, our regeneration. We don't have time to think about spirituality and why did what did Christ do and why are we here, and the story of Adam and Eve. I have nothing to do with all these things. I have simply to do my job, and I have to eat, drink, and be merry, enjoying all the pleasures, worldly, carnal, and whatsoever. And please don't talk of these things to me. Right? This is the modern West land, as perceived by the poet. Now, oh, keep the dog far. Oh, keep the dog sorry, keep the dog far. Why? That is friend to man. This dog is in capital letter, D at least, if not ONG. D is capitalized, and it has so many references. So many references. I will talk about 3 or 4, not more than that. First of all, while writing these lines, Eliot was reading John Webster, and his book, The White Devil. The White Devil. In The White Devil, in that text, there is a line which roughly paraphrases itself like, keep the wolf away. Keep the wolf away. In The White Devil, we don't have dog, we have wolf. We have wolf. And there, a character, Cornelia. What is her name? Cornelia. She says, keep the wolf away, as Cornelia is indulged in a graveyard scene as she is into the burial process of somebody. Then she says, keep the wolf away, who is natural foe to man. Natural foe to man, wolf. Eliot has reversed that, and in connection of burial, he says, keep the dog for hence, that is friend to man. That is friend to man. The first reference of a dog in terms of the white devil of John Webster. Am I clear? The second reference refers to one of the poets of 19th century, Francis Thompson. Francis Thompson, and he wrote a poem, The Hound of Heaven. The Hound of Heaven. And what is a hound? What is a hound?
So it's a wild dog.
Wild dog, very good. Hunting dogs in that way, right? So in that poem, the Hound of Heaven, Thompson talks about dog, as we have already seen, in terms of red God, when the poet talks about come under this rock, come under this shed. Remember that? When I was talking about the second coming and Gerard Manley Hopkins and their references, and even William Blake and his reference to on tyrannical God in that way, right? So this is the Hound of Heaven. It means what? The dog of heaven in that way, right? So another reference which talks about dogging the faithless people, the faithless people. The second reference. The third reference goes back to one of the Greek myths. One of Greek myths. There is one Greek myth which talks about Osiris. 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 Osiris is like a dog who is Osiris is not dog in that way. Just let me recapitulate once again. So Osiris is a god, a fertility god who is being dismembered into several pieces to be scattered around. And try to understand, when I'm talking about fertility, this is what one does while sowing seeds. One doesn't plant a whole wheat plant. What one does? The wheat is dismembered from its shafts and then grain comes out, yes, and the grain is being scattered. It is not like, as it's a very famous, I don't know if it's true or wrong, but they always say that once one of the Gandhis, I don't know whether it's right or wrong, one of the Gandhis was talking about, Gandhis means, you know what I'm talking about in that way. So he was talking about that if we don't have sugar. Why don't we sow sugar instead of sugar cane? Eh? Why don't we sow sugar instead of what? Sugar cane. अब शुगर केन आप बोइए, फिर उसको काटिए, फिर उसको क्या मतलब बनता है यार? ऐसे चीनी बो दो, चीनी हो जाएगा अच्छे से. So again dismembering. And those who belong to villages, they must be knowing how a sugar cane is planted. A big sugar cane, maybe 8 to 10 feet, that is being cut into several pieces. So cut into several pieces, and each piece is being placed at a regular distance from one another, right? And then that is being buried under the soil, and then after some days, sugar cane, not the sugar, please, sugar cane comes out. I have done this because my childhood has been in the village, so I have seen. I have not only seen. I have been into that. Not because of my I was forced, but of my own choice. Because in my childhood, this process of sowing sugar cane was not less than a festival. Because if you go to sow a sugar cane in that way in the field, so the sugar cane pieces which are left, you have the chance to chew them first thing, and after that process of sowing, we were given a fried and spicy uh, gram chana, right? And then one mixture that is again made of raw and undiluted sugar, that is we call good jaggery, right? And jaggery and curd mixed together, and ras, that sharbat in that way. So we had these pleasures which we did so many times while planting a sugar cane uh, piece. Have you done it? Anybody? ना, नहीं किया होगा आपने ना? किया है किसी ने ऐसा काम, गंदा काम? अरे बोलो यार, किसी ने देखा है कि बस चीनी खाने आता है? हैं? 2 चम्मच शक्कर दे दो, 4 चम्मच शक्कर दे दो. कैसे बनता है, गन्ना कैसे बोया जाता है, ये सब नहीं देखा आपने? रे राम रे राम. You must all accompany me to my village, and I will show you, if you can dare to see a village. I can show you that how a sugar cane is processed when you have jaggery, which is better than this चीनी and sugar. शर्करा से बेहतर होती है वो, शक्कर से बेहतर होती है ना? और आप लोग गन्ना चूसते नहीं चूसते हैं, दांत टूट जाएगा आपका. Okay then, sorry. So Osiris is being dismembered and is being scattered. Is being scattered as he is a god of fertility. And after certain days, his consort, his compeer, Isis. We have seen Isis in the Tempest. Remember that? Back, and she, with the help of a dog, dog, recollects all the scattered limbs of Osiris as a symbol of production, as a symbol of fertility, as a symbol of certain amount of, collecting created items in that way. So she, along with the help of a dog, does the needful task. The dog is there. Dog is there in the Hound of Heaven by Francis Thompson. And in the Webster, we have wolf, right? We have another reference to this dog in Egyptian civilization. There is a dog star. We have several stars in the sky. They had a star named dog in modeled on a dog. Star Sirius, not Serious. It's Sirias. Sirius, right? And the dog star Sirius would be a symbol again of the rise and the fall of the level of water in the river Nile. Again, fertility, resurrection, prosperity, leading to happiness, right? So, these are some important references towards dog. And now, if I talk about this dog in terms of literal sense, the line is, or keep the dog for hens, that's friend to man. What has been the case of dog in ancient times, when dog was really a faithful creature which really assisted, right, human beings in the process of furtheration or furthering of fertility ritual. But in the wasteland, even the very thinking of a dog helping human beings to further the process of fertility is a myth. It's an impossible task. It's not possible at all, right? And naturally, the most important domestic slaughter commonly found, and almost in every, no, not in every, but every 10th household in that way. Maybe I may be wrong in that way, but dog is there, right? But the kind of dog which we find in ancient times and the role of the same dog, right, is not possible at all, is not here at all in the 20th century modern West land. So simple word dog eludes us and puts us into illusion, as it talks about so many illusions in turn, right? So many illusions in turn. And this is the speciality of the poem, The West Land. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Next line, see.
Yes, sir.
Or keep dog for hens, that's friend to men, or with his nails he will dig it up again. Digging the grave means what? Marring, destroying. Right now, if you sow a seed, if you sow a plant at your home in a pot, in an earthen pot, what will happen if a monkey comes and if a dog comes and simply dismembers the whole thing? It turns upside down the whole attempt of yours. Will the plant grow? Obviously, the plant will not grow. You have to nurture the plant, you have to give proper care, proper food, proper nourishment, proper water, so that the plant can be grown into better, right? But the very attack of a dog in that way, simple thing, right, will simply put a break to all your noble aspirations, noble ideas, that this will, I will shall be planting, and after certain days it shall give me proper amount of oxygen, and I will not go for the machine which claims to give you fresh oxygen. राइट आजकल तो मशीन भी आ गया है ना, ऑक्सीमीटर नहीं आया है आज तो, भी मशीन भी आ गया है, आप अपने घर में लगा लीजिए, आपको फ्रेश ऑक्सीजन ऑक्सीजन मिलेगा। पेड़ पौधा मत लगाइएगा, हैं हैं ठीक है। एनीवे anyway, और or keep the dog for hens, that's a friend to men, to men, and or with his nails he will dig it up again. Or in the in the white devil, Cornelia talks about wolf and keep the wolf away, otherwise it will dig it up, right? In the modern Westland, Eliot talks about dog, keep the dog. Do a dog is a friend to man, no issue with that. Yet he will dig it up again. Right? So, how in the past dog had several positive attributes, but in the present, dog is supplied with all the negativities, as we see in these lines. And then the last line again refers to the French poet Charles Baudelaire and his poem The Flowers of Evil. The Flowers of Evil. And here he says, you hypocrite, you hypocrite, lector, reader. It's a French fragment. It's a French fragment. So far we have seen German fragments. Now we have French fragment. He says, you hypocrite. First is reader. The second is my fellow men. And the third is my brother. You, the reader, you, my fellow men, you, my brother, you all are hypocrite. Hypocrite in this unreal city, simply because you are sordid, you are disdainful, you are leading a life of abhorrence, and you are simply living the life on animal plane, like Madame Sosostris, like Mr. Ecuton, like Mr. Smyrna Merchant, like Miss Belladonna, Lady of the Rocks, Lady of Situations, like fish, flesh and fowl, like all the young adults, and you have no time for spiritual meditation, for spiritual awakening, and for metaphysical yearnings. You hypocrite, my reader, my fellow man, and my brother and sister, if possible. Tell me, yes, थोड़ा सा कठिन है ना, it's a complex poem ना, नहीं?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is.
हल्का सा प्रयास करना होगा, समझना होगा, है ना? But I am quite hopeful that you all are getting the idea of the poem, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Should I move towards second movement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have the second movement, that is a game of chess. In an earlier class, I was talking about a game of a chess while referring to the Tempest. Yes, and while a game of chess is being organized to celebrate the conjugal relationship and conjugal life of the husband and the wife, that is Ferdinand and Miranda, isn't it? Yes. Now, the same game of chess which was used to celebrate happy and healthy conjugal life, happy and healthy married life, has gone into different radical meanings, changed meanings in the due course of time. What is your perspective on a game of chess? Simple, complicated, difficult, complex, smooth? Yes. What is your perspective on that? Do you play chess? Anybody? Good. Yes. Anybody tried to play the game of chess? हाथी घोड़ा पालकी जय कन्हैया लाल की. One step, 1.5 steps, 2 steps. I don't know how many steps. Anyway, tell me यार, शतरंज खेला है आप लोगों ने कभी? शतरंज ये खिलाड़ी नहीं है, ये कहानी
Yes, sir.
चंद का पढ़ा है आपने? शतरंज के खिलाड़ी आप हैं कि नहीं है? टाइप वही मत करो, बोलो मुंह से अपने, इतना कौन पढ़ने जाएगा? तो सब सो गए हैं क्या कि सुन भी रहे हैं हमको? कोई would you please say that, look sir, I am alive, I can talk,
Sir, it's a
or you
difficult
have become
game.
distant? हैं? डिफिकल्ट गेम भाई, कोई बोल ही नहीं रहा, आप क्या बताएं? सब नाराज हो रहे हैं क्या? पूछो तो प्राची, आस्क देम. हेलो एनीबडी?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
श्रुति सांडिल्या?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
अरे तुम हो कि नहीं हो यार?
Yes, sir.
अरे तो भाई बोलना चाहिए, हम कब से कह रहे हैं कि बोलो बोलो, तुम लोग बोल ही नहीं रहे हो. हद है, इतनी भी क्या हमसे नाराजगी हो गई है? नाराज हो गए क्या तुम लोग? एनीवे, so a game of a chess, complex, complicated, several uh, what do we call them, players, huh? And several steps. You need to be very vigilant, you need to be very alert, huh? And there is a continuous process of checkmating, check and checkmate, 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 in that way. And a game of a chess in that way talks about the intricacies in a relationship. And in a way, nobody would like to talk about one's life. You are not married, but you may be marrying maybe after 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But what will happen if you begin to play with your partner a game of a chess? Every time you begin, you are intending to checkmate, getting along, getting ahead, getting above. Will it bring any kind of happiness to one's life? Will it not be a kind of a blind pursuit of winning over games where one tries to prove oneself better than the better half, maybe the male or the female? What do you think? Yes, tell me.
It's the relationship to an extent.
Bit louder.
It will strain the relationship to an extent.
It will for sure, right? Okay. According to Eliot, modern Westlanders are caught in a game of chess whereby any of the partners is not trying to have a healthy conjugal life, but each of the partners is trying to win over other. And this is bringing a kind of fiasco, a kind of failure. And what can be the better example than the example of Eliot himself, who himself didn't have a very happy marriage life in that way, right now? So, what are the further implications of this game of chess as being contrasted to the Tempest, that is Ferdinand and Miranda, and how the same game of chess is being played in an altogether different form and different pitch, in different batting style and bowling style in that way. It's like IPL. It's not a test match. It's like cricket match, and cricket match of Ferdinand and Miranda is like a test match. Okay, no issue. But it is now T20 IPL match where you have to hit every ball a six and you have to bowl every ball to take the wicket. Okay. So this is a game of a chess, and what are the things which Eliot is going to talk about? We shall be seeing this very soon. This title, A Game of a Chess, is taken from Thomas Middleton's play, Women Be Aware Women. Thomas Middleton, one of the post-Shakespearean playwright, I think. Yes? Jacobean dramatist? No. Yes, Jacobean dramatist, yes. Thomas Middleton, whose play, Women Be Aware Women, talks about an old woman who is invited to play a game of a chess with full zeal and passion, with full concentration. She's playing the game of a chess, and on her back, her daughter-in-law is being seduced. She's being raped. She's being raped. As she is involved in playing a game of chess, her daughter-in-law is being seduced and reduced into nothingness in that way. This is from Thomas Middleton's play, Women Be Aware Women. Okay, am I clear? Women,
Yes,
be aware. Women,
yes, sir.
don't take. Okay. While reading this poem, especially the first long paragraph, will make you remember, if you have read Cleopatra. Cleopatra, one of the plays of Shakespeare, that is Antony and Cleopatra. You may also remember Queen Dido's palace in famous Virgil's Aeneid, when Aeneas goes to the Carthage and when she meets Queen Dido, yes? So you have to keep remembering these two references, these two allusions. First, Dido, that is Virgil's Aeneid, and the exploration of Aeneas and his arrival in the court of Dido. And the second is the scene of Cleopatra's palace of Antony and Cleopatra. And third, don't worry, we have third, and third is Belinda, the rape of the lock by Pope. And the fourth and the fifth and sixth, and as many as possible, can be the several vanity vans and saloons, beauty parlors, Lakmi, Habib. That's all. I know only these two. You can enlighten me with some more names if you wish. Yes? Do enlighten me, bhai. Give me some more names. I'm waiting. Anybody? Anyway, Prachi, read the poem.
The chair she sat in, like a burnished throne, glowed on the marble where the glass held up by standards wrought with human
Just,
grace.
I won't be interpreting. Please, just one moment. I won't be interpreting this much. You have to focus on each word and the kind of image you shall be making of the vanity van, the kind of salon which I am referring to. So once again, the chair, yes.
The chair she sat in, like a burnished throne, glowed on the marble where the glass held up by standards
Your
wrought
voice
with.
is cracking.
Sir, can you hear me now?
Your voice is cracking. Am I audible properly?
Yes, you're audible properly. Can you hear me now,
Prachi's
sir?
voice is cracking. Somebody else? Yes, somebody else? Please. Am I audible? Please tell me.
Yeah. So I'm going to read the poem. Yes, sir.
Uh,
The chair she
okay,
sat
go
in,
on, go on. Just
like a
wait.
okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just give me some moments, please. Hey! Yes. Please read. Huh. Hello?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Huh?
Sir, I'm going to read now.
The
The
chair
chair,
she sat in. Yes.
the chair she sat in like a burnished throne, rolled on the
Burnished, burnished
burnished
throne. Burnished
throne,
throne.
glowed on the marble where the
Glowed
glass
on the marble. Look at the physical paraphernalia. Burnished throne glowed on the marble. Marble, where the glass held up, glass held up by standards wrought with fruited wines, fruited wines, beautiful carvings, beautiful designings, right? Fruited wines from which a golden Cupidon, Cupid, Kamdev, the god of love, a golden Cupidon peeped out. Look at the setting. It's all sensuous, physical, artificial, superficial, shallow. Right now, it has nothing to do with the inner meaning of life. It has nothing to do with inner strengthening, inner polishing, inner refinement. It is all talking about externalities, external manifestations, right? And then a golden Cupidon peeped out. Another hid his eyes behind his wing. There is no one calm there. There is no one God is God of love. There are several gods of love. It means what? Free state of relationships. Free state of sexual relationships whereby one is not in one relationship, rather one is in relationship with so many others. This is not a case of monogamy. This is a case of bigamy or polygamy or adulterous relationships, which has become the high tone of this West land. Okay, am I clear so far? Please confirm this.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Doubled, doubled the flames of seven branched candelabra. Beautiful that hanging lights, candlelight dinner. So seven branched candelabra reflecting light upon the table as reflecting. It's all shining. It's all smooth, glossy, refined, but artificial and from external. Reflecting light upon the table as The glitter of her jewels rose to meet it. Right? So the glitter of the seven brands, the candelabra, and the jewels which she has put on, all the diamonds and the golds and silvers, maybe rubies as well, right? And from satin cases poured in rich profusion in vials of ivory and colored glass, in vials of ivory and colored glass, unstoppered lurked her strings, synthetic perfumes. Synthetic perfumes. Oh my God. I think the image is clear. What is he talking about? And what is the intention of the poet? Synthetic perfumes. Are you clear? Are you getting the idea of the poet? What does he want to convey? Yes, tell me.
Yes, sir.
Synthetic perfumes, unguent, powdered or liquid, and the impressive lines: troubled, confused, and drowned, the sense in orders. Troubled, confused, and drowned. The external beautification, which has become the hallmark of not only 20th century but the subsequent 21st century. I mean, this is not the case of as well, this is the case in that way. And the way we have been drowned by several beautification processes from Nakh to Shik, you know it better than I do, I hope. But look at the words he's using: troubled, confused, and drowned in the sense. Sensual pleasures, carnal pleasures, sexual gratification, the mammoth desire to furnish the body, not the soul, not the heart, not the mind, not the spirit. Am I clear? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then he says, stirred by the air that freshened from the window, these assembled in fattening the prolonged candle flames. Another important thing: candle flames flung their smoke into the laquaria. Laquaria is a kind of false ceiling. False ceiling, laquaria, stirring the pattern on the coffered ceiling. Huge sea wood fed with copper beautification, burned green and orange, framed by the colored stone in which sad light a carved dolphin swam. Artifacts, commodities, commodification. I mean, We talk about artifacts, commodities, commodification, objectification in terms of postmodernism, isn't it? But don't you think that these lines do suggest at least the beginning ground on which postmodernism arose? What is it about? It's all about commodification. Now people don't go to see dolphin. Now they have dolphins carved in the glass. And in an extended version, do I need to remind you of Disney World, Axel World, or that famous Indian on Pune Bombay highway, that Aerupagiti, what is that? Uh, that very the virtual world, where kids are not taken to Nandan Kanan and Gir to see real lions. Instead, they are being taken to these virtual worlds. And children are more happy to see virtual lions and lionesses, virtual tiger and tigresses in that way. This is what we do in postmodernism. Virtuality is the key. But what is virtual? Fake. Yes, no. Unreal. Unreal city, where you have already seen in the last movement, unreal city. Right? So the way poet is talking about all these things, carved dolphin, what is it? Commodification, commodity, artifacts, and important precursor, at least I take, to of postmodernism, as far as these words are concerned. Am I clear? Yes, tell me.
Yes, sir.
Dolphin swam above the antique mantle, was displayed as though a window gave upon the sylvan scene. The sylvan scene refers to Paradise Lost. Sylvan scene refers to the Garden of Eden. It refers to the seduction of Eve by Satan in the form of snake. In the wasteland, Eve is multiplied into Eves. Satan is multiplied by Satans. And seduction is again multiplied by seductions. Rapes, violence, atrocities, brutalities. I'm quite sure you are more sensitive than me. You are more of observant nature than me. And you won't fail to understand the implication of this statement. Almost everybody in the wasteland is like a Satan, vying to seduce, vying to rape, vying to be violent. Do I need to count the events? No, I need not. Do I need to give examples? No, I need not. So the example of Eve and Saturn can be a prototype. And in the modern Westland, we have so many of them. That's why. And now, in typical Christian system, the silver scene is constant reminder of the original sin, of our banishment. But in the modern Westland, even the silver scene becomes a part of painting. It becomes a commodity. Look how beautiful it is. Look at Eve. She's so beautiful. Look at this picture. Commodity, commodification, artifact. This is the sea transformation portrayed in the vein of mockery and irony. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
I think that's all for today. Okay. Uh, okay. Uh, Tomorrow is Sunday, Anna. And if I am not engaged somewhere, I will send the link accordingly. Do you have your engagements with that, with Sunday, with anybody?
So probably Priyanka ma'am only will take her class tomorrow.
What time she is planning to go for?
She hasn't told yet.
Okay, then I think I should give you the spite this Sunday, Hannah, because I have a class of compulsory language and I have certain things to be done. So I hopefully I shall meet you on Monday, right? In between, please uh, do read the poem on your own, at least the read part, the covered part, Hannah, and make yourself free to ask anything which you might disturb you.
Sir,
Huh.
I wanted to ask about the thing you just mentioned about seductions. So sir, like when we're equating seductions with rape, sir, doesn't it become a little problematic in that light?
See, I'm not using the word seduction and rape synonymous. I am simply talking about violation of both, of the body, of the soul. Rape is a corrupt form of seduction. Try to understand my point. Rape is corrupt form of seduction. Rape is debased form of seduction. And I'm asking you not to look at the word seduction or seduce. The word seduction is, the word in itself is very seductive, right? But try to understand the implication of the writer. What does he want to convey? Seduction of anybody, be it of a man or a female, in that way, man or a woman in that way. Seduction means what? Surrendering of the body or surrendering into a kind of physical pleasure. Okay? First of all. And this is not at all welcomeable. This is not at all acceptable. Seduction. Rape. What is rape? Does rape only involve physical destruction, physical violation? Can't it be mental? Let us try to widen. I was watching newspapers and I was watching television and reading newspapers in that way. Though I don't do these things too much, but while half of this was happening, and the way police inspection filed the report that semen was not found in the girl's sexual organ, does it mean that only seminal presence is the proof of rape? Think about it. Think about it. I mean, should semen be considered as a proof of a raped woman or a raped girl? I don't think so. I personally don't think so. The kind of mental torture, the kind of physical torture, the kind of suffering she had undergone. I'm not talking about the politics. I'm not talking about SIT and CBI and nothing else in that way. Can't we consider that as a rape? I was just thinking, I want your support as well. I want your opinion as well. Should we consider that vaginal penetrative sex as only proof of a rape? What do you think? All of you.
Of course not, sir.
Think it sensitively. We
So,
need,
according to
yes,
when the word seduction and the rape comes, seduction cannot be the only part played by the woman. It can also be the part played by the man.
I'm
And
not
when
saying that, I'm
his
saying that,
desires,
yes.
and when his desires are not fulfilled by the opposite sex or opposite gender,
Hmm.
that leads to the second form as rape. Uh, so rape cannot be the thing which is ultimately violating the physics of the victim, but also the psychological consent of the victim
Huh,
in the case.
yes, yes, yes. And this is what I'm talking about, right? And in a
Yes,
way,
sir.
I'm not only talking about seduction of women by men, I may also talk about seduction of men by women. I may also talk about, though it is very much uh, bizarre one to talk, but the rape of a man by a bunch of women. It's possible. It has been. So why can't we think that way as well? But the basic thing is that T.S. Eliot is talking about sexual sacredness. He's talking about sexual relationship in a in an accepted manner, as we remember Prospero warning Ferdinand not to indulge in any kind of sexual activity before the marriage. Remember that. Look at this stance, this example, and the kind of sexual perversity, sexual sordidness, sexual liaison, sexual adultery, sexual gratification that has been too much in these difficult days. I'm talking of 21st century. Don't go to 20th century only. Look at your time. This 20th, 21st century. I mean, as I have always been telling, if you look at television, if you look at the advertisements, man's Gillette shaving cream is being advertised by a female in a lingerie. Huh? And that famous advertisement, Kunal, yes, that, what is that? Perfume, na? Which one? जिसको लगाए लड़की पट जाती है.
So it's engaged.
अब जो भी हो यार, एंगेज हो चाहे डिसएंगेज हो, हैं? क्या है ये? Think about all these things and then try to understand what is the aim of T.S. Eliot. Okay? Did I make myself clear?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Clear. What about you? What about you?
Yes, sir. I got it.
Had it been a face-to-face class, I would have been in a different position to talk. उस समय दिमाग कुछ और चलता है, ऐसी कुछ लिमिटेशंस हैं. और अच्छा, इसमें अभी तो नया नया चीज है. खैर, फिर भी मैं प्रयास कर रहा हूं कि आई शुड टॉक ऑफ द थिंग्स व्हिच आई जनरली टॉक, irrespective to the theme, or I don't know, irrespective of the theme or the syllabus or not. But I shall be talking whatever the time I have, whatever the memory I have, and whatever I have, I shall be bold enough and I shall be talking everything. Don't worry. Right? So try to understand the wider implication of what Eliot is talking about. Not only in terms of 20th century wasteland, rather you have to pull it back. Pull it back to your situation, your 2020, and then think about it. Then perhaps you might approach Eliot in a fresher perspective than the perspective of 1920s and 30s. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So thank you so much.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes, Prachi?
I have a question to ask.
Huh.
So the presence of ivory and colored glass
Huh.
and those synthetic perfume, not the natural perfume, not synthetic perfume. So what does it suggest? That the situations or the conditions are man-made in in the are the situations and the conditions are a result of man's action and his work. Synthetic, because the word synthetic, sir, suggests कि
Artificial.
perfume
Artificial.
artificial. Yes, sir. The his artificial his his work and his deeds are the significance of the situation which he faces and all.
These phrases, these words simply suggest that in the pursuit of beauty, in the pursuit of happiness, in the pursuit of sexual gratification, and the desire to keep the senses awake, the desire to keep one's forever young, people simply go to artificial ways instead of talking about the beauty of the soul, the beauty of the heart, the beauty of the intention, the beauty of the mind. People in this wasteland are more interested in the beautification of external self, limbs, organs, eyes, cheeks, lips, I don't know what. So he is giving us a catalog, he's giving us a list. What is a typical lifestyle of a daily modern wastelander, and how that is fraught with several layers of artificial intelligences. There is lack of natural relationship, natural cohabitants, and in order to indulge in sexual relationship, they are not motivated by their inside, but rather they are taking recourse to the external flames, as if sex is not a celebration. Sex is a daily routine which one does unknowingly, which one does without understanding the broader implication of the sexual relationship. It has become mechanical, it has become robotic, and it has become drab and dull, as a kind of daily recurrence devoid of any higher spiritual meaning. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about this more in details on Monday. Clear? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Thank you so much.